What is up, denizens of the interwebs? It's Chat here coming at you with another video, and this time it looks like the Twitter weirdos are back at it again, especially when considering MiHoYo, the game company behind things like Star Rail and Genshin Impact. But shockingly enough, the game in question isn't actually either of those two, it's their newer game, Zoneless Zone Zero, which I've actually never heard of. But instead of crying racism this time, they're once again going and crying about the straightwashing of all of their games and claiming that every single character is being made to appeal to the heterocells and just simply isn't gay enough. This is coming from bounding into the comics. Western Zoneless Zone Zero fans lose their minds after HoYoverse debunks lesbian Caesar King headcanon by Nerdigans Inc. And of course, the first thing she points out in this article is specifically the fact that Genshin Impact is no stranger to these controversies. If you remember 6 months ago, there was a huge campaign over the new region of Genshin Impact claiming that it's all colorist. As I have referenced in this article from The Gamer, Genshin Impact accused of colorism with the new Natlan region, and this was all the way back in July. And it's all simply because all of the characters in Genshin Impact, with the exception of 2 characters, are incredibly pale-skinned. But this time, it's all over the fact that Zoneless Zone Zero character Caesar King has been revealed officially as a heterosexual woman. And the funny thing that this author mentions to point out is that the entire reason why they were assuming that she was a lesbian, and this is her character design, I can see why the people who cannot think outside of their own selves might think that. I actually do really like this character design. I can think of a whole bunch of really good parts about it. But the entire thing here is that all of the things they're using to point to it, the fact that she's butch, the fact that she is a tense character, and while I haven't played this game, it's pretty obvious what kind of character she is, with the high top shoes and whatnot. You can see why people who want to see queerness in everything they do would immediately try to claim this character, because she's far cooler than anyone who would want her to be gay. And it's these people who claim that these stereotypes are completely harmful who are the ones who are pushing it because of the fact that she's stoic and butch, then she has to just be a lesbian. And all of this was revealed in a music reveal trailer where they showed her going on a date with the male protagonist of the game. And of course, there's so many different of these Twitter weirdos bemoan the game for giving her a feminine side and letting her be seen as an actual woman in a game, and then of course going on a heterosexual date and not being the lesbian that they wanted her to be. The article then goes on to include several of these comments made by these Twitter weirdos. The last 10 seconds of that trailer was unnecessary and really reduced how powerful of a character Caesar should be, but instead they reduce her to a waifu. Like, come on! Because any woman with her own kind of agency can't be anything more than a trad waifu, because that's not reductive whatsoever. Another user responds, she's straight ill. And that profile picture tells you everything you need to know about there. And remember, don't go and harass these people. Because, well, it doesn't matter what I say. No one cares. And this one might be my favorite one. HoYoverse, please, this isn't you. Delete. As if they haven't been doing this the entire... Everyone seems to forget. Every single time we get a new Genshin character, they seem to think the character is obligated to be gay. And then, of course, the character never is, because it's a somewhat conservative Chinese company that has somewhat conservative values and heavily disagrees with your ideas on gender politics. This is the most tone-deaf, objectively, willfully blind comment you could have made at this moment. And the fact that people like this still exist. In fact, the person that seems to be her profile picture looks to be Eula. And last time I checked, Eula was a character from Genshin Impact that everyone was pissed off when they made her heterosexual. It's like these people keep seeing, keep learning, and then keep refusing to learn the lesson because, well, they're idiots who care more about being pandered to than actually getting something of value. And this other comment is an absolute gem. Way to ruining the character. Strong badass women scare some types of men, and HoYo needs their money too. That's why this video exists, and I know some women will be disappointed at this too. I would like to remind everyone that in relation to that claim that some men just are scared of women like this, I gotta remind these people of the Genshin Impact character that are particularly popular amongst the men who used to play the game, because let's be honest, not very many people play Genshin anymore. You have Dea, who is, in fact, the strong butch type, who many people try to ship as lesbian, but is incredibly popular amongst men. Yelan, who is the exact same thing. And then, of course, the funniest one to consider is Beto, who's literally a sea captain who's constantly drinking sake and telling you to fuck off. And most of the men I know, this is always one of their favorite characters, because she is, as the men like to put it, a muscle mommy. No one is scared of strong, badass women. That's not the problem, and you know it. Genshin Impact, of course, heavily likes using these kinds of characters because there are so many of them, and the men like them quite a bit because the muscle mommy genre of fictional characters is a pretty strong one that's still going on. I don't personally fully understand it, but you know what? I'm not here to judge based on taste. Although I do understand the beta. And this deleted tweet is even funnier. This trailer may be my final straw with ZZZ after the Jane/Seth debacle, which I don't know what that is, and the only information I can seem to find on it is indicative that they were made as a couple in the game, and also their Japanese voice actors are both Link and Zelda, so that's kind of cool. I'm going to state this, I'm no here to argue with anyone. If you like this straight sell pandering, good for you. I didn't, and that's okay. We are allowed to have different opinions, but also kill yourself. In Minecraft, of course. Not here to debate, you should just go away, leave me alone, and fucking die. You've got to love how accepting these people are when you don't adhere to their insane ideologies. You dare violate their single ship, and everything comes crashing down, and the actions they'd be willing to take against you are far from humane. And then after doing that comment, the same person instead responded the last 10 seconds of that trailer was unnecessary, unneeded, and unwanted, and really reduced how powerful of a proxy Caesar could be, but instead they reduced it to a waifu, like, come on. And I just want to point out, almost exactly the same sentence structure as the first comment I read, with only a couple of added words in the middle, leading me to think that this was probably a bit of a bot campaign as well. So of course, these delusional weirdos just keep being delusional, keep saying the same shit that no one gives a damn about, and pretending to be relevant. But there's a comment in here that I think is very important to point out. Down here from Canadian Rebel, these are not fans, they're political activists. There's a big difference. And this is something I noticed a lot when, say, during the whitewashing debacle, when Clownfish TV covered it, they made the statement that the people complaining about these projects do not play Genshin Impact. I can tell you that it's categorically false. And just to show that I know a little bit what I'm talking about when it comes to MiHoYo or HoYoverse games, this is my Genshin Impact account. Very disappointingly so. As you can see, I have a little bit of playtime in Genshin Impact, with the amount of days that I've logged into this game are 467. During the course of COVID and a little bit afterwards, I played this game a lot. I have several characters who are level 80. Zhongli is of course the best character, and you can fight me on that physically.
Come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
If you disagree, because he is objectively the best character in Genshin Impact, and so I have a lot of experience with these people who are making these kinds of comments. I am sure I've interacted with a few of the people linked in the bounty into the comments article. These people are actually just nutjobs. They are obsessed with Genshin Impact, they are obsessed with HoYoverse, and they are obsessed with every single one of their games, because the game almost gives them what they want, and it's such a game that it allows for gambling addiction and a lot of shipping, because the game doesn't put a whole lot of the character story into concrete. So while when it comes to things like Star Wars or things like Marvel, a lot of the gay shippers aren't actually fans of those products. And of course, I can see why people would assume that it's the same thing for the other way around. That's not the case. Most of these people play this game religiously. They play it daily, because it's a gacha game. You have to log in and grind the game daily to progress. These people are 100% doing it. They're playing through all the stories. They're especially playing through all of the hangout events in these games, which are effectively little dates with the characters. They are 100% doing this. Do not get it wrong. These people are obsessed with this game, and that's the thing. This game is their magnum opus. This is the most important thing to them. And the fact that it doesn't adhere to their idiotic social ideas is like betrayal to them. It's like someone going and stabbing them in the back. Because to these people, this game is betraying their trust. This game is taking everything that they have given them and is taking away what they want. They think the game owes them these characters and these relationships and all these things. The game doesn't owe them jack shit. But these people don't care because they're a bunch of narcissists who insist on seeing their ideology put in first and foremost. Now, what's really going to confuse a lot of you people who have no idea what's happening in the spaces like Genshin Impact and other HoYoverse games, most of these people are straight. Most of the people bitching about the straight washing of characters are straight women. Most of them. Some of them are kind of bisexual, as in they might find women attractive, but they have zero interest in actually dating a woman. And that's the long and short of it. Most of these people just want to have their fantasies put onto the screen, but it's not even something that they're living by. It's not their lifestyle. So when these people talk to someone like me who's actually bisexual, there's a complete disconnect because they see me as a fetishization, a puppet, or as just something that's cute and an adorable little toy. That's why they fight so vehemently about sexuality, is because to them it's a plaything, not a real thing to consider, and it's not something that real people really have to deal with. And just as it's a toy to them, they think that it's a toy to the studios that they can just put in, so they have their little gay boy puppet. In fact, that is a term that was frequently used to describe the character Wanderer when he was released for the game. So yeah, these people, they're nut jobs. They're insane. They're objectively insane. And they 100% believe everything they're saying, even though they don't live by any of it. And they are 1,000,000% fans of the game. Where it looks like there should be a complete disconnect between the player base and these psychos. They're kind of one and the same to a huge part. However, there are also a lot of normal people who play Genshin Impact, but they're not inside of the communities. And the communities are massive. But that's pretty much all I got for today. My roommate's really trying to get me back into Genshin, and I really need the excuse not to do that. I'm just going to go and touch grass instead. You guys have a good one. I'll see you on the next video.